If you're like me and you've ever been traumatized in life, you gotta find Creator. You gotta find God, Allah, whatever you want to call it. You gotta find it. Even if you don't believe in a higher power, you have to find love. You gotta find some sort of universal connection. You have to understand that there's a collective consciousness, and you have to find whatever that higher power is, whether you believe it's a deity or something like that, is not important. What it really boils down to is love, unity, community, things of that nature. And I'm not saying this as some sort of preacher or anything. I don't care if people believe in God or a higher power or creator. But if you can find something that unites yourself with others, and just as importantly, unites you with your deeper inner self, life will get a lot better. And that is a healing point for all that trauma that we experience in life. The the cure to addiction, the cure to mental health issues, and all these different things that we experience and go through in life, trauma, is connection. And that most thorough, deepest, best form of connection we can have is one with a higher power, which can be something as simple as love, showing love to people and receiving it as well. I think about my journey. I'm 17 years sober. When I first got sober, I didn't know how to pray. All I had is one reference point. Shout out to my mom. I had one reference point from when she sat us down when we were kids. What we do in Native communities often is we'll take sage, we'll burn it, we'll smudge ourselves. And it ain't just Native communities that do it. There are other people that do that too, in different nations, everything. But that was my reference point. I remembered her doing that, and I remember being a young kid and feeling something. I felt some sort of connection when she did that with us. And so when I first got sober, I just sat down and I smudged, and I just said, Creator, if you're out there, please help me today. Please help me to not want to smoke or drink today. I'm just asking for this one day. It was desperation. I didn't have nowhere else to turn. I was done, you know what I mean? I hit my rock bottom, so to speak. And I prayed hard that day, and then I did it again the next day. And not only did I do that, though, I took action. I reached out for help to people I knew who could help, in like sobriety circles and things of that nature, because I had been exposed to meetings and so on as the result of court orders. And so I went to some of them sobriety meetings, and I connected with people, and I pleaded for help. We can't be too big for help either. We need connection. Nobody gets where they are without the help and support of others. And I can say for myself, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my faith. One thing I love to say is Creator got me, you know what I mean? And I know that today. And I still don't remember it all the time. I'm a human being. It's not like I don't still have nerves and apprehension like all human beings do. But I know it better than I ever did before. And you just got to find that connection. Got to find help. You got to be willing. And, unfortunately for some of us, it takes us longer than others, And some of us may not go through the kind of trauma that makes us need as much of a connection, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that necessarily. I wonder if that's some people's experience. I don't know. I only know mine. But I know from my experience, if you've been through a lot of trauma in life, if you have intergenerational trauma in your bloodline and DNA from things that have happened to your people and so on, you got to find God, you got to find Creator, and you got to find community. That's what it's all about. And I'm not like some big deal or anything, as a hip hop artist and, somewhat of a public figure. People probably see me and think that I got a big head and I'm full of myself, and that's just not the case. Like, I know that all credit goes to the Creator, because I would not even be sober if not for Creator. When I operated on my own pride and will and ego, I was slouched on a couch with an empty beer can in my hand, or, a burnt cigarette burning through my shirt or something like that. Blacked out, putting myself in dangerous situations, could have died many times, could have ended up in prison for long times. Like, if it wasn't for Creator, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And it doesn't matter if you believe in a higher power, so to speak, like anything like that. I have no care for whether or not some big guy in the sky created the earth or whether it was science and evolution. That don't matter to me. What I do know that is we all have a collective energy about us. Otherwise we would not be able to explain having so many of the same thoughts, ideas, experiences, and so on. Think about that. Like there is no original idea. It's because there's one mind. And that's getting kind of deep there, but we're all drawn from the same one mind. And it's just when you see situations when there are two groups that are opposed to each other, they're just drawn from different aspects of that one mind, but from an egotistical standpoint. That's getting a little deep, and I'm kind of ranting now. But long story short, moral of the story: if you're like me and you've been through trauma in life, I implore you to find spiritual connection. I implore you to find Creator, or find whatever it is that you can believe in and vibe with, and go for it, man, because it's worth it. And I'm not perfect, that I'm nowhere near I want to be in life. So it's not like I'm any authority on this, but I can say that from as somebody who was once addicted, depressed, I've had suicidal thoughts in my lifetime, self-harm thoughts, thoughts of, not being worthy, all of that. I'm a human being. We've all had those thoughts, whether we want to admit it or not. So I say that as a human being who has been through a lot of stuff in my life. Maybe not as some people, maybe not as much as some people, maybe more than some people. That's not what matters. What matters is that I found Creator. And when I'm consistent in my faith, and when I'm having those conversations with Creator through prayer and meditation, and even reading, and just, sharing with people, helping how I can, life is so much better. And even if you already know this for yourself from experience, but maybe you're not tied up, maybe you're not tied in or locked in on that mode of life right now, well, get back to it. All you got to do is get back to it, and you already know that, right? So yeah, if you've been through trauma in life, get connected with Creator again, or love, whatever you need to call it. And if you haven't connected with anything like that, then there's always a good time to start, and that time might be right now. That's the Talk T.